How's it going, everybody? We have a very exciting video to go over today. This blog is called The Road to Blue Marvel. It'll come out a little bit later today, and this is a really good blog. This blog is going to detail everything we need to know about the structure for the Blue Marvel Unlock, everything that we didn't know for the Professor X event that caused some frustrations. They're being transparent with us about. They're telling us everything for Blue Marvel. I think that's great. And there's also going to be a big celebration for Purple ISO 4 and 5 at the end of this blog that you are not going to want to miss. So here we go. Blue Marvel is almost here, and the wait is nearly over. The Cosmic Powerhouse is set to join Marvel Strike Force, and we'll get all the juicy details on how you can recruit him to your roster. From thrilling upcoming events to new opportunities to earn the coveted Purple ISO 8 needed to unlock this powerhouse character, this is one launch you won't want to miss. Get ready to channel the power of antimatter. Blue Marvel is about to change the game. And now they're going to go into the Blue Marvel kit, and it's a really good kit, right? He has a very high speed stat. I believe it's 133. He will stop old Emma passives, so he cannot be have his speed stat reduced except by slow. Every turn that happens, whether it be an ally or an enemy, he's going to be increasing some sort of stats. Speed, power, armor. If a fight goes too long, he becomes a monster, and he's already going to be doing a lot of damage because he does hit through defense up. So, very, very interesting character. I'm super hyped for this character. Will he have the impact of Odin, Mephisto, Professor X? No, he's not the sort of character where you should expect, hey, I got him, so I should get an auto win on Crucible or an auto win on War if I throw him on defense. You could probably make a team around him that'll accomplish that. Maybe you'll include a character like Odin or Mephisto. But you shouldn't expect just throwing him with Orcus and getting a win sort of thing. That's not how he's going to work. He will definitely tip the scales in favor of somebody who has him against somebody who doesn't, though. And he'll be amazing in PvE events. All right, targeting Blue Marvel. Add atomizing abilities of Blue Marvel to your roster during the Target Blue Marvel event. The event for players level 85 plus, this is kind of misleading, right? They say 85 plus because you need to be level 85 to equip Purple ISO, which is a requirement here. But you will not get through these nodes if your characters are not level 105. I would assume, right? That was the case for Odin's event as well. It goes live November 3rd. That's like 3 weeks away. No one's going to have enough ions unless they just start selling it wholesale in the store. And you'll find it in the events tab. Okay, so the events section, rather. This is interesting. I thought it would have been the epic campaigns, the epic characters, so it would have been okay. This is not unheard of. So legendary characters are in the event section if you don't have a legendary character. I'm talking about characters that predate the Scourges. So like Phoenix is there, Octopus is there, Nick Fury is there. You'll know that if you're a new player, right? So is it going to be that style combat where you don't have to 3-star a mission, but you do have to one-shot the mission? We're going to see some stuff later on that really does suggest this is going to be Dark Dimension style combat. And when I say Dark Dimension style combat, what I mean is continuous combat. So you don't have to one-shot a node. If it takes you 10 hits to get through a node, it takes you 10 hits to get through a node. And then your cooldowns carry over from node to node. We're going to see a lot of kind of hints that lead to that sort of understanding, but they're not going to flat out say what it's going to be. And Scopely, if you watch this, you need to come out and flat out say what sort of combat it's going to be so people can get the certain characters ready, because we're about to read about combat mods, and that is going to be a sore spot for a lot of players. So if you want to get ahead of this, you know what to do. Listen to your boy. All right, here's the mission checklist that'll ensure your roster is prepared for the challenge that lie ahead. We have no trait restrictions on missions 1. Then we have Conquerors, Cosmic, City, and Global, non-mythic across the board here. And if you do the math on this, Conquerors do have Cosmic, City, and Global characters. We only need 15 characters. This is a very, very large difference compared to Odin or Professor X, which I believe needed 25 characters. Maybe it's 20. But even a 5-character difference is huge, especially when you look at what they are currently doing with Purple ISO 4 and 5. The price tag for Blue Marvel is much, much, much smaller than Odin and Professor X. And when I say price tag, I mean both monetarily and time-wise. The amount of ISO that we're getting just on the timetable for free is going to be speeding up people's Blue Marvel unlock substantially. If it took you 9 months to a year to unlock Professor X, it's probably only going to take you about 6 months, maybe 5 months to unlock Blue Marvel, the speed at which they're going, which I think is very interesting. But here's the source spot, guys. Combat mods. Each mission after mission 1 will feature one or more active combat mods that'll aid specific characters in battle. This is not what you like to see. Obviously, this is a sore spot for anyone that remembers the Professor X saga if you took the wrong characters in, right? If you didn't take the Vigilante characters in to the city section there, you quickly found out like you needed to have Silver Sable on your roster to get through it. You needed to have Liberty on your global team to get through it. Now there's a couple other options since it's kind of been a long time. We've got a lot of different global teams that have war rules in their kits. But it's still really tough to make a team that's not called Liberty that gets through it. I just tried Brimstone. Didn't go too hot for me. Did not go too hot for me, right? So when they buff specific characters, that becomes a problem. Or when they craft nodes with a certain team in mind to beat the node, it becomes a problem. But they continue. In addition, there are also game-specific mods on some missions. 4 and 5 is going to be Arena. 6 and 7 is going to be Raid. 8 and 9 is going to be War. This part I don't hate, because these are very, very broad. These are not specific characters, right? I just talked about how you kind of need Liberty for the global section, but as we've seen, other teams can come in and start getting the job done. Songbird did not work when she was at 3 stars. If you have diamonds on Songbird, you can start using Songbird, right? The Astro characters work pretty decent, even though they kind of predated Liberty team. The Brimstone team, they can get it done. The Secret Warriors team, they can get it done. It's just a lot uglier, but they can get it done because they feed into those rules, the war rules, and it's not specific character buffs. And if we look at Arena, well, the last 2 Arena teams are both Cosmic, Annihilators, Fantastic Four. How many City Raid teams do we have? Well, we have Insidious 6, we have Vigilante, and we also have Blade and Oath, right? And I guess Moon Knight, is he also? He might be global. And then 8 and 9, War Active. Well, how many global teams do we have? We got Undyne, Brimstone, Liberty, Mercs are global. Like, there's so many global characters that you could bring here that are not locked behind the mythic trade, right? So it wouldn't be the end of the world if the missions are not super tailored for a team. But even if they are tailored for a team, if we don't have to one-shot the node, if it is that Dark Dimension continuous combat style, and we can just whittle a node down, then I'm not as worried about it. But before we jump into that sort of train of thought, let's look at the specific character mods that we're going to see here. And I will say, all the mods that are on the Conqueror nodes, they just flip over to the Cosmic City and Global nodes, but they cut off the ones that don't apply anymore to that Cosmic City or Global section, right? So we're just going to read this one side, and we'll talk about what it means. All right, missions 2 and 3, Insidious Allies. On spawn, Shocker and Vulture gain the Insidious 6 trait. This is a good omen. Hear me out. The reason this is a good omen is because this shows me that they want to give players the opportunity to bring in Vulture, Hobgoblin, and Superior Spider-Man, and still get the speed bar that Superior Spider-Man gives. They're not trying to force you to bring in Hobgoblin, Scorpion, and Superior Spider-Man, all 3 of those characters, to activate that Insidious 6 trait, which means that they are leaving the door for you to bring in non-Insidious 6 characters, like Blade, like Oath. And I think that's good. If it's continuous combat, that's going to be okay, but as we're about to read, there are some crazy buffs they do give the Insidious 6 team. On spawn, Insidious 6 allies gain 100% speed bar. Okay, well now, you might be giving them the tag so that they benefit from this. On kill, bury all Insidious 6 allies for 100% of their max health, plus supplies safeguard and immunity for 2 turns. This is bonkers, right? Like, how impactful these sort of mechanics are is crazy, and it does give me some concern that, do I have to bring the entire Insidious 6 team? Because nobody wants to do that. Listen, I like Shocker. I do. I like Scorpion. I like how powerful they can be when they eventually get their turns. But they are not the MVPs of their team. I love Blade. I love Silver Sable. Those are the MVPs of their team. And with Purple ISO giving such a crazy damage boost to certain characters, I want to spread that power out among other teams, because I don't expect to be able to Purple ISO 4 and 5 my entire roster. It's important to me that I don't have a freaking 14 million powered Insidious 6. I'd rather have a 10 million powered Insidious 6 and a 10 million powered Vigilante team, right? So if the nodes are uncompletable, if we deviate from Insidious 6 characters, this is really bad. And time only makes it worse. For us chasing this right now, it's kind of okay, because the Insidious 6 team is so amazing. The new Raid team, they're great in Crucible, they're great in War, and the same will be true for Brimstone and Fantastic Four, right? But if somebody is, say, they're level 60 right now, by the time they get to 105 and they're starting to look at the Blue Marvel stuff, maybe there's going to be a much more enticing City Raid team, or just City team in general, right? That's a real feels bad moment, and they need to learn that lesson from the Apocalypse Saga, that it feels real bad. Once again, though, if this is Dark Dimension style combat, and it takes me 10 hits to get through a node, if I bring in Superior Spider-Man, Vulture, Blade Oath, and Silver Sable, it takes me 10 hits with that team, as opposed to one-shotting it with a full Insidious 6 team, I'm okay with that trade-off. I will just let the event take a longer time, so long as I can still get through it with the characters I want, because then at least at the end of the day, I still have characters for War, for Crucible, for Raids, for whatever, that I would much prefer to have that additional power. I'm okay with taking that hit on time. So if that's what they're going for, I think that's okay. Let me know your thoughts on that. We're just going to go over the other sections right now, but just know my thoughts apply not only to the Insidious 6 City team, but also to the Global Brimstone and the Cosmic Fantastic Four nodes as well. All right, Brim Me with Energy. On spawn, generate 6 ability energy for Brimstone allies. This one right here is what is the biggest hint that it's going to be continuous combat. Why on earth would the Brimstone team need to spawn in with 6 energy, right? Maybe spawn in with 2 energy so Doctor Strange can ult turn 1, but 6 energy? Every other character besides Doctor Strange, correct me if I'm wrong, they have access to every single one of their abilities turn 1, right? On spawn energy gain screams this is going to be Dark Dimension continuous style combat, which gives me a lot of hope. Anyway, let's continue on. On spawn, Brimstone allies gain immunity and safeguard. On kill, Brimstone allies gain 20% speed bar. That's huge, right? But for global characters, war rules will still be turned on, so I can still use like 3-piece Undying. I can still bring in Zombie Scarlet Witch, Zombie Iron Man, Juggernaut. They get speed up on spawn because it's war still. They still stop speed bar. They still stop speed stat because the Scarlet Witch is crazy, crazy buffs, right? And then I want to bring Daemon and Hellcat, which is why Daemon and Hellcat I want to bring. The other 3 Brimstone characters I couldn't care less about. Again, I want to spread that power out. So we're going to see again how we can kind of fiddle with the formula of characters we're going to be bringing here, but that's kind of where my head goes. These are very impactful. They're nowhere near as impactful as the Insidious 6 buffs. Interesting, right? All right, Fantastic Energy. On kill using Fantastic Four MCU allies, each Fantastic Four MCU ally gains 3 ability energy. This screams, again, it could just be like there's going to be 40 enemies on the wave, so they need to continuously get their 40 enemies on the node, so they need to continuously get their energy back up. But Fantastic Four, they start with all their energy. If it's going to be continuous combat, they're going to need ways to gain that energy because their ability cooldowns are super long. That's one of the weaknesses to Fantastic Four Professor X teams, right? Is you can do a burn attack, and then they're kind of stuck doing basics, and it's not very interesting anymore. Cutting speed. On spawn, Fantastic Four MCU allies gain offense up and speed up for 2 turns. Again, very, very impactful. And here's where I start taking issue, okay? There's a couple Conqueror characters you guys forgot about, okay? Blastar and Quasar are 2 legendary Cosmic Conqueror characters. I want to bring these characters. I literally already bought Blastar to Purple ISO 5, okay? And they're getting nothing for the Conqueror section, and they are getting nothing for the Cosmic section. That's real feels bad. I don't want to bring all the Fantastic Four people. If Blade is a character I want to bring for the City section, Quasar is definitely a character I want to bring for the Cosmic section. Same with Blastar. I love Crucible. I love Blastar, right? And you kind of forgot a whole ass Conquerors team. Where's the Hellfire Club? They got shafted so hard here. They're a global team, but they're not a war team. So they're not going to really work well here. They can't use them on the City section, which does have raid nodes turned on. And you didn't even include them in the Conqueror section at all. I want to bring Azazel, brothers. I want to bring Invisible Woman, Franklin, Azazel, Quasar, and Blastar. Because those characters spread power into all kind of different teams. Really interesting, really powerful stuff. But the rules don't look like it. But let me tell you something. I've already brought them all to Purple 4, and I brought Blastar to Purple 5, okay? I'm going in with that team. I will let you know how it goes. The advice is what it has always been, especially in with this in mind, in hindsight. It's kind of unfortunate. But with these combat mods now kind of revealed, hold your Purple ISO 4 and 5 until we see the nodes, until we see the actual gameplay, and we get in there. Let psychopaths like me, you know, trailblaze for you, okay? All right, but let's look at Mission 10. No trait restriction. Boss Blue Marvel. Blue Marvel is a boss. On spawn, he gains the following benefits. Immune to stun, ability block, exhausted expose, and speed bar reduction. When attacked, he gains 20% speed bar, and he substantially increases to base stats. All right, and then all previous mentioned mods are also active. So everything that we could do throughout the other nodes, we can do here. This is really cool, especially if this is going to be a Dark Dimension continuous style combat for a boss. I think that would be really, really fun, right? So you'd hit him like 5 different times. You would hit him with your Cosmic team, hit him with your Global team, hit him with your City team, and maybe he's going to be so powerful you're going to have to do that for like 5 days in a row. I think that's really cool. And so, yeah, if this is Dark Dimension style combat, I think most of the concerns are completely alleviated, and this could just be like a super fun game mode to play through as opposed to just a character chase like the Professor X saga was. I'm kind of excited for it. Let me know what you guys think. I think we're all on the same page that these sort of very, very in-depth buffs to particular characters takes the wind out of the sails a little bit. But if they're not like mandatory to lean into, it's okay. We'll figure it out, right? All right, race to Blue Marvel. Earn red stars. While Blue Marvel's power can single-handedly alter a battle, combine Blue Marvel's antimatter abilities with Red Stars to crush all those who stand in your way. Your first shot at Blue Marvel Red Stars is the Race to Blue Marvel event. While this event will last through the end of the year, earning as many Red Stars as possible will ensure you stay one step ahead of your competition. We will have the full scoring details in an upcoming blog. This is interesting. We did see this event for Odin and for Professor X. The first one was for Odin. This was the first time you could earn a Dark Dimension character to 7 Red Stars immediately. It used to be, like for Ultron Doom, it started at 4 Red Stars and eventually you could bring them up. I believe Mephisto was the first character to start at 5. I think Super Skrull was still 4. I have very mixed feelings about this. I think it's really cool that the people that are going to, trailblaze it and they're going hard on the leaderboards or whatever else they're trying to get done to get it early and they get a 7 Red Star. I think that's really cool, especially now that diamonds are in the game. Like, to make a 4-star character able to hang with diamond level characters, the power leap would be stupid, right? So by opening up those Red Stars to the certain players, I think that that's fine. But the timeline on the exclusivity is disgusting to me. For Odin, they did it right. If you beat the Odin event, I think it was in the first 30 or 60 days, you'd get that 7 Red Star. Cool. But if you didn't, you'd still automatically get a 4 Red Star. Not for Professor X. People who got Professor X early, yeah, they got the 7 Red Stars. Depending how far you got within that 60-day window of his event, you got a varying amount of stars. I think there's 50% of the people in my arena bracket have a 2 Red Star Professor X. The amount of hype that is lost because your character is 2 Red Stars instead of 7 is crazy. The amount of hype that is lost if your character is at 5 Red Stars or 4 Red Stars instead of 7, it's not as bad. But we also just... How long does that exclusivity window have to last before people can start upgrading them via DPCs, right? For Odin, it was a long time. And Professor X, they have not talked about it at all yet. And that concerns me when it comes to these sort of events. I like the exclusivity window. I think it's cool for those players that really want to engage with it. That might sound disgusting to some of you, but I think that it is just kind of necessary to make people want to push it faster. And then they get to tell us all the characters that didn't work on those nodes, which is really fun for me, because then I don't have to waste resources. Anyway, but they need to get it in line. It needs to make more sense for the longer term players, especially let's go back to that player who's level 80 right now, is going to hit level 105 2 or 3 months from now, and is then going to start working towards their Blue Marvel journey, right? They're just not going to be able to get Red Stars by then because their account literally couldn't unless they bought like Time Ice. And it starts to get really gross when it comes to that. So I hope they tweak the formula here and everyone at least will earn a 4 or 5 Red Star Blue Marble regardless of when they unlocked them. I think that is very important. What is cool though is that it is going to last through the end of the year. So it's going to be November and December. So it is going to be those 60 days, just like Odin and Professor X, where if you remember, Professor X started at 28 days and they extended it. So they are starting with an extended version of Blue Marvel. And I think that's good because it gives people the better expectations. Especially on the timeline to unlock Blue Marvel via, the restrictions on the Purple ISO. We have some new stuff in game that gives us insight on that timeline. All right, Purple ISO 8 opportunities. We've got big opportunities coming up in the new Purple ISO 8 levels into your hands. Aid your roster's prep efforts with these upcoming sources of level 4 and level 5 Purple ISO 8. The Road to Blue Marvel. Grab level 4 Purple ISO 8 in this milestone through daily play and war battles, along with level 5 resources for premium milestones to push your squad over the top. How it works. Score points towards milestones through daily play and battling in Alliance War. Milestone rewards level 4 Purple ISO 8, not level 5. Purchase milestone offers to hit premium milestones that contain level 5 Purple ISO 8 ions. This is how my Blast Star is already purple level 5. We're going to talk about the cost on this. You can upgrade one character each week, so this is going to be a reoccurring event with the rewards earned from completing all the milestones. This is very important, especially for free-to-play players. In order to hit these milestones, you don't want to be dumping your level 4 ISO ions all at once. You want to do it every single time this event runs. I saw something also that I'm going to have to do. Now, for mid-spenders, the cost of these premium milestones is 1/4 of what it was to put a character to Gear 220. It's 40 American dollars to have enough level 5 ISO 8 ions to bring a character from 3 to 5. $40 times 15 characters is still $600. That is a very crazy price tag for a mobile game. I'm not trying to downplay that, but what I am saying is in comparison to the Odins and the Professor X and the Mephistos we've had back in the day, this is a much, much more discounted price tag for the character. Now, I don't want to focus on spending too much. I want to focus on what this means for the philosophy of this character. And what that means for the philosophy of this character is that they want to get it in your hands faster. That does mean for free to play, they're likely going to be turning that spigot on faster and faster and faster. I think that's very important, especially if we are forced to bring in these characters. Because like I said, I want to spread this power out. Purple ISO 8, 5 is such a crazy jump in damage. I really want to be spreading that power out. So, and we're about to see they're giving a big gift of purple 4 and 5 to start this off, which I think is kind of crazy. We've never seen that before. So I think that is a good insight. If it took you probably like 9 to 12 months to unlock Professor X free to play, I'm guessing it's going to be 5 to 6 months to get Blue Marvel free to play. That would be my guess. Maybe I'm going to be completely off on that. People want less leaderboards. If you are somebody that spends on leaderboards, yes, they burn you out. If you're somebody that doesn't spend on leaderboards, it just means you're getting a drip in every single week. I'm actually of the opinion, run those fucking leaderboards every week. Just, hopefully have some self-control and don't be paying into it every week. That way everyone's getting a consistent drip of it. But these other ways are even more welcomed in my opinion. A milestone event that happens, maybe they can start throwing it in like a tower pops up and the final reward is like 500,000 ISO 5, enough to equip 1 crystal, right? I think that is definitely a more fun way to actually earn Blue Marvel. We'll see what they're going to do in the future for that, though. This event is live now, so make sure you check it out in-game. Take one step closer. Yeah, like I said, my Blastar is now Purple ISO 5. I did that before seeing that he literally has absolutely no rules that are going to benefit him in this game mode. I'll let you know how he does, but I really wanted Blastar to be Purple 5 because he is not doing enough damage for me in Crucible where I need him to go. All right, this video is going long. Let's get this over with. Curse of the Eternity leaderboard. Yes, there's going to be a new leaderboard that's going to have purple level 5 ions on it. I guess we're going to see that in the blog tomorrow, I would assume. I hear via Datomizer some free-to-play inputs on that, so very interesting to see how much level 5 ions we're going to get, because the amount of level 4 ions you get is enough to equip a bunch of characters with level 4, but the amount of level 5 ions you need to get to equip level 5, and then also level 4 ions on top of that, is a much bigger amount. How big is it? Well, let's read here. Free purple level 4 and 5 ions. To wrap things up, we will give everyone level 85 access to enough L4 and L5 purple ISO 8 ions to upgrade 1 character for free from level 3. So from level 3 to level 5, I believe that is about 2.6 million ions of both level 4 and level 5. The purple ISO 8 resources will be available via a multi-day web free claim starting on October 20th at 2 p.m. Collect the web free claim every day for 7 days to grab these resources and upgrade a character of your choice to target Blue Marvel. Again, this could just be a one-off, but to me, they didn't give 1 free character to Gear Tier 20 when Professor X came out, right? It is a huge shift in like the ideology they're using for Blue Marvel Unlock. That's not the right word. Theology? I don't know. Whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. How they are trying to get Blue Marvel out there faster, this is a huge insight into what's going through their heads. And I think that is really, really cool and insightful. Let me know what you think, though, guys. Let me know what you think about the timeline you think it's going to take for Blue Marvel unlocks. Let me know how you feel about these combat mods. I know it's already going to be negative, but let me know your thoughts if you have maybe a countervailing opinion or if you have a more insightful thought that is negative that I forgot to bring up here. All this is pretty self-explanatory, and let me know how hyped you are to get Blue Marvel unlocked. I'm hoping it's going to be a fast experience for a lot of players, with him like already advertised as not impactful as Odin or Mephisto or Professor X or when they came to the game. I think it does give them an interesting opportunity to do something that the community would celebrate. Let's see if they stick that landing. They haven't in the past, but maybe they will now. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like, share with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. But for now, stay happy, stay healthy, have yourselves a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.